Hey, so you love golf? I do too. But do you find it's really lonely sometimes to connect with people when you're not golfing? I love to talk about golf and do everything about golf when I'm not actually golfing. But yeah, there's some platforms out there like Facebook and some others, but there's got to be some other solutions out there. Well, there are. And today, that is the conversation we're going to have so that you can find other people and create an engaging golf community on the Mod Golf YouTube channel. So my guest today on the Mod Golf YouTube channel is Paul McEldon, who is the co-founder of Clubface-Golf. And let me pull him up here, get him side screen with me here. There Paul is. Paul, welcome
Hello.
back to the Mod Golf Podcast. We had a great conversation earlier on our long form audio podcast, which I encourage all of our viewers to become listeners. So down below in the comments there, we've got the link to all of that. But we're going to talk about some different stuff here today. So before we get started into that and dig into it, Paul, hey, welcome back to the Mod Golf YouTube channel.
Hey, thank you, Colin. I really enjoyed our chat. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, geez, you're probably getting sick of me now. When I was in London with my wife a week and a bit ago, you were generous enough to come down and meet us and be our tour guide and take us to a pub and buy us a pint. So we had that great connection. So I know you're all about connections and conversations, and this is a great little segue into conversations and connections that are authentic that you have created with your platform. So
Absolutely.
please give us let's open things up and tell us about Clubface-Golf, what you do and why you do it.
Okay, so as you can see here, we're a social network just for golf clubs, just for golfers rather. So, the story behind this is, I speak to a lot of golf clubs. I've played a lot of golf in my time, speak to a lot of golf club managers, and I always bring up the conversation of communication because I feel often golf clubs fail in their communication when they're trying to communicate at their members rather than with them. And I'm a strong believer that engaged members are retained members. You can get more lifespan out of a golf club, out of a golfer's membership, just by engaging better, by making them feel like they're part of the decision-making process, that they have some input in how the golf club is managed. So when I speak to these golf club managers and even marketing managers, the subject of generic social networks always comes up, and we talk about the obvious bunch: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and what have you. And their eyes always roll over. And certainly on the golf club side, it's sort of seen as they have to be there. That they often don't know why they're there. They don't know what they're trying to achieve from being there. And the conversations that I have with them is often that there are so many social networks that they don't know how to keep up with each. And we know that the messaging on Instagram is slightly different to the messaging on Facebook, which is different to the messaging on Twitter, which is entirely different to the messaging on LinkedIn. So golf club managers are very, very busy people. So it's taking up so much of their time. So it sort of dawned on me that there must be a solution to bring all of these people together in one place that offers all of the benefits of generic social networks, but with an audience of people who are relevant. So that's why we created Clubface-Golf. So it is, in simple terms, it's the Facebook for golf. It's the Twitter for golf, but nicer. It's the Instagram for golf with a lot less Shopify on it. It's the TikTok for golf with a lot less dancing. And that's what we are.
Well, be careful there. I do post some videos on there for Mod Golf. Maybe I'll break out some the newest trendiest dance moves. So be careful.
Hold you to
Maybe
that.
maybe I'll
I'm
get
going to hold
blocked
you
if I
to
start doing that though. I got to be careful, I guess.
well, it's you, Colin. You're Clubface-Golf royalty, so I would suggest that probably might not happen.
Well, okay, I may push the boundaries and test the limits to see just how much you are willing to tolerate there, Paul. That'll
You
be
have a phone
interesting.
call first, trust me.
Well, I do personally love the platform here. Like you and I, there's no paid endorsement thing going on here. I just authentically like you as a human, what you do as an entrepreneur, and the ups and downs in the journey. And we did talk about the backstory and your what you've done in life and business to kind of bring yourself to this point. But let's talk about this just as an entrepreneur, because not everything works.
No.
Whether it was in Clubface-Golf or some things you tried before and you've learned to kind of, as we talk about, fail forward. So yeah, we've already celebrated some of the wins and where you're going and the traction that you have. And it's really exciting in what you're doing, not just in golf, but also in the cricket and the football space and growing these communities. And like you're a rocket ship, really ready to turbocharge and launch here. But let's flip it around here.
Mm.
share some cautionary tales, some stories of things that didn't work, or
Yeah.
yeah, just share some of those because we always have them in the entrepreneurship journey. So share those with us, Paul.
Okay, well, there's one very interesting story. I started a company many years ago called One-to-One Pro Data. In the UK, we have this service called the Telephone Preference Service, where if you don't want to be cold called, you can add your number to this list. So I developed a bit of software where a company could upload all their telephone numbers and check it immediately against the TPS. But I'd never started a business before. So I joined a business networking group and I met this chap, I won't name him. I met this chap who was a business advisor. And in my naivety, I said, look, I'll do a deal with you. You come and run the business for me, set it up. I've got all the program, I've got the product ready. I'll give you 30% of the company. Off we go. And he was like, yeah, cool. So he came into my offices and so he registered the company name, One-to-One Pro Data Limited. You then get a form from the government called an 883 in the UK, which is a shareholder allocation form. So he filled that out. So when you register a company, you get one share. That's 100% of the company. We created 100 shares. So he filled out this form, gave 70 of the shares to me, 30 to him. Off he went. Perfect. So for 2 years, we built this company and it was really, really going well. And it was a Sunday afternoon. I'll never forget, my mother-in-law was around. I was in the garden. We were having a barbecue. And I get a phone call from a client saying, Paul, we've just had a really strange email saying that you've been fired from the company. It's like, what are you talking about? I own the company. He went, no. He said, Ian's just sent us an email saying that you're no longer working there. So I jumped in my car, dashed down to the office, and he cleared everything out. And what happened was, when I signed the 883, he just torn it up and put it in the bin. So when he registered the company name, that one share, 100% of the company, was still in his name. But I trusted him implicitly. And that was such a valuable lesson. And it took me quite some time to get over that, to get over the naivety of it, the how much faith I'd put in somebody. But on reflection, I thought to myself, right, I could have gone to university and spent 4 years building up £300,000 worth of debt, and they would never have taught me that. So it was a valuable lesson. So, like everything from adversity, you've got to take out anything positive you can from it. Trust, you have to put trust in people. This business is founded on trust. I have so many ambassadors all over the world who are representing us, and they're free agents almost. They're out representing a brand that I've spent 5 years building, and I trust them implicitly. But always be prepared that sometimes that trust gets abused, and have a backup plan of what you can do behind that.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lesson learned the hard way. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
that was actually 3 weeks before my first son was born. He did that.
Wow. Wow, that would leave a mark. Absolutely. So this ties into kind of something else I want to talk about, because we did not talk about this earlier, and it's about kind of the culture and kind of the mission statement of what you have, kind of your why, your purpose, if you will. Yes, you are a for-profit business, but you're much more than that. So tell us a little bit about what you consider your North Star and your values with with employees and people you bring on, and the culture you're creating on that, and even the aspiration of what you hope to be in another 2, 3, 5, 10 years.
Okay, well, yeah, that's a really good question. So we're not an altruistic company. We're a for-profit company. However, I strongly believe that there are ways of doing things the right way, and success will come if you do things the right way. Everything about our communication platform is about safety. The one thing I see quite often on generic social networks is, reputations build up, and they can get ruined in a shot, and for totally inane reasons, or what normal people would regard as inane reasons. And it's only because they're allowed quite often to put this stuff on generic social networks. So what we've tried to do is remove ourselves completely from politics. I just think politics is involved in everything, and I think it has been for such a long time. So we tried to stay out of the politics. Today's particularly hard, given that the PGA Tour are in the Senate, and that's raising questions. But I think we know they've got no teeth, and nothing's going to happen there, and whatever's going to happen. But we want people to get involved in vigorous debate, have really strong debate about it. If you have strong views on sports washing, as you may see it, or whether it's a capitalist a horrible scenario. Should the PGA Tour be creating a for-profit organization moving away? They're great debates to have, but do it in a respectful way. Do it in a way. And I always say this: if you wouldn't say it to my face to face, don't say it online. You just make yourself look foolish. And because we are really strong advocates for this, we can very quickly say this person isn't good for our users. This person isn't good for our platform, and we'll remove them. And they can accuse us of bias. There is no bias. It's just the only bias is you're not a pleasant person.
That it's as simple as that. That's the very, very simple algorithm there. You're just not a pleasant person.
Yeah, quite.
Yes, you've actually flipped the unpleasant switch, and yes.
That doesn't mean to say, and we touched on this in the meeting we had. I don't try to shape debate. That's not my job. Debate has to be open and free, but respectful debate. It has to be respectful debate. This is what it's all about. Ask yourself if you've got a daughter or son, because this is how I founded this business. Would I be comfortable with my children being on this platform? Every design decision we made about this business was based around that mindset. And I'm very fortunate. I have, five investors, three quite significant, and two smaller investors, and they've all bought into this philosophy. They're all very, very, very successful, hard-nosed businessmen. They will bang, 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 bang. They understand that I do have a degree of altruism about how I want to run this business, and they respect that. But like all investors, there comes a point when they go, how much did that altruism cost us?
How are you making money? But well, on that note, you are creating, and it's starting to reveal itself more and more as the more validation, the more feedback, the more insights you get, because you've been at this for a couple of years now with Clubface-Golf, and how you're applying that to Clubface Cricket and then eventually Clubface Football, which I believe has not launched yet. Is that correct?
No, football hasn't launched yet, and we're tossing up between whether gyms or football comes next. Gyms, I like the model for it because there's a lot of molecular environments. So there's lots of group. Each gym can be its own group, and each town has 10 gyms. So there's not an argument for saying that might be next.
Nice. Okay, hey, want to finish up? We want to keep this a little bit short and sharp here for our viewers. In entrepreneurship, who inspires you? Who motivates you? Who do you look to as a hero, whether it's someone that has climbed the mountain or a thought leader? Maybe you can share a couple of people or situations that inspire you, and because we know that entrepreneurship is hard and you've got to be resilient and persevere. So when we have dips, so when you have those dips, what do you then cling on to inspire you to move you forward?
I think I'm inspired by those closest to me because I can see tangibly that the effort they've put in. So my brother, for instance, he never had any ambitions to run a business, and worked at a company for a long, long time, the architectural ironmongers, selling knobs and knockers, as they call it, and which you'll know because of your architectural days. But he was at this company and it wasn't being managed particularly well, and the business went bust. And he worked his socks off to make sure every single one of those staff and each one of the clients and each one of the suppliers all moved across with him. And he's built this into a hugely successful business. He stresses a lot, which we all do. But I look at him and I just think, wow, I've wanted to do this. You were sort of forced to do it and you're doing it so brilliantly. So he's a big inspiration for me. And also Roger Nichols, who's another one of our partners. He's now 76. He gets this business thoroughly. He's on the phone to me every day, and he's probably our biggest advocate for this business. He talks to everyone about it. He's involved in multiple businesses around here, and everyone says the only business he talks about is this one.
Wow. Well, that's what you want. We talked about that earlier on the podcast, that yes, investors with money are great, but you need much more than that. And it sounds like there you've got not just him as an investor, I'm sure the rest of them too, that they are opening up their networks to help you grow. So it's all those other kind of non-monetary pieces that are an asset in order for you to scale this up. So it sounds like what I'm taking with this is the lesson learned here from when you got burned a few years ago, and now is surround yourself with good people. What do they say, that you're a product of the 5 people that you surround yourself with closest, or something like that?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with that more. And don't be scared to release a degree of control. For a long, long time, I was a control freak, and this was my baby. And when we met, I said to you, the thing about starting a business, it is like having a baby. The baby wakes you up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you pick it up and it pukes on you, and you see all the ugly elements of the baby. And then the next morning you wake up and you dress it up, put powder on it, dress it up nicely, and you take it out, and everyone goes, "Oh, isn't that beautiful?" But you still remember what happened 5 hours ago. So surround people who are going to support you as well. This is, because there are going to be down days. I'm naturally a very motivated person and quite excitable, if you like. But there are times when you just go, "I'm just exhausted." And it's these people around you who go, "Do you know what? Take some time. You're doing a great job." And sometimes that's all we need to hear. "You're doing a great job. Keep it up." It's worth more than money sometimes.
Great advice. Yeah, that's some nuggets of wisdom that you've provided myself and our viewers here today to finish up. So, hey, to finish up, why don't you let our viewers know where they can? They're now saying, this Clubface-Golf, this sounds really interesting. Yep. How can they get on the platform? How can they sign up for free and get on and start to have a conversation with me and you and the other almost million users that you've got on the platform?
Yeah, so it's really simple. www.clubface-golf.com. Go to Clubface-Golf on the iOS store or the Google Play Store. Download the app. It's free to sign up for golf clubs, free to sign up for businesses, free to sign up for golfers. It's free for everyone. There are expanded opportunities for businesses, and there are income opportunities for golf clubs as well. Mm-hmm. If any golf club wants any information about that, they can always email me at paul@clubface-golf.com, and I'll send them a pack explaining how it works for golf clubs.
Perfect. Well, down below in the comments, I will include the links to that to make it nice and easy for our viewers to get all that. And hey, as a viewer, if you've enjoyed this conversation, you know what? The way we're going to grow the Mod Golf YouTube channel is we really need you to help us out here. So all I'm asking for simply is, hey, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. If you like the video, click on that. Just help us out a little bit because we are starting to grow. We're going to create even more and more content. Not only these great interviews I have with entrepreneurs like Paul and others, but also in the diversity and inclusion space. Quite happy to celebrate that we actually won another journalist award for a podcast for last year in the diversity and inclusion space for the work that we do there with the Mod Golf podcast. So hey, if you enjoy what we're doing here, please support us, support the mission, and that's as simple as that. Just help us grow, tell your friends, and watch more of our videos. That's all I ask. So Paul,
and follow Colin on Clubface-Golf at Mod Golf Colin, or just Colin Weston. You'll find him on both of those. Good
ad. Thank you, Paul, for that. My friend, good to see you again. Thanks for joining me on the Mod Golf YouTube channel today.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.